Another perfect Saturday afternoon at Blacktown for football. Good afternoon and welcome to this big NEAFL game between the Sydney Swans and the Brisbane Lions. I'm Eddie Summerfield and I'm joined by Adam Santarossa. And Adam, perfect day for football. Should be a big game today.
Yeah, good afternoon to everyone watching and yourself, Eddie. It is a great day here at Blacktown. Pretty picturesque for what is winter. Brilliant day for football. Players, in terms of comfort, can't ask for too much more. The skills should be good today. And look, a crowd that's building here too, so pleasant for them as well. Looking forward to this one. Yeah,
most definitely. Very important game for both clubs. Sydney Swans, they've won the last 6, obviously, sitting fourth on the ladder at the moment, 6-4 going into this clash. Brisbane 5-5, so lost today, and they have a negative win-loss ratio as Brisbane Lions win the toss, and they'll be kicking to the right-hand side of your screen. Ben Keys there, the skipper today for the Lions. Real interesting form heading into this game. Adam, what have you made of both clubs leading into this game?
Yeah, tale of two fortunes, really. Obviously, Sydney on a 4-game winning streak and doing well. The Lions, well, it's the complete opposite. They haven't won for quite some time, in fact, since the Swans beat them in round 8. So, look, they've got some work to do. They're still in the 6, but they're slowly fading down, and they need to respond today against a pretty good Sydney team in some pretty good form too.
Good to see Matt Cannon, academy player for the Swans today. He's out there playing his first game. Also one to note, a couple of AFL-listed guys, Sam Reid and Lewis Malik, and they haven't played since round 3 in the AFL when both players suffered injuries in the same passage of play against GWS at the SCG.
Yeah, and they'll obviously want to build some good form here in the NEAFL, get some confidence and really push for a spot in what is a pretty competitive list in the AFL for Sydney. So it's going to be hard work to get back and break that in. But look, good performance today can certainly go towards that. And
at the Lions, plenty of AFL-listed players there. Clay Beams, he was very good last weekend in the Lions, lost to GWS. And coming back from injury, Rowan Buick, Ryan Bastenacker, others who also in a bit of form in recent weeks. Ben Sloan, one to watch also for the Lions today, not wearing the number 55. He's an academy player for the Lions, and I'm told an absolute excitement machine as the players move into position for this vitally important round 13 clash in the NEAFL. Sydney Swans, they're sitting 4th on the table. Brisbane Lions sitting 6th. Our umpires today, Matthew Bagent, Cameron Barr and Nick McGuinness. As we wait for play to get underway here at Blacktown. Umpire holds the ball aloft. Swans kicking to the left-hand side of your screen, Brisbane to the right. Two of the form ruckmen in the competition to go head-to-head. Ball's bounced in the middle. Winning the kick-out was Keys for the Lions. High up and under to centre-half forward. Big pack of players fly. Ball came to ground level. Lions go forward through Beams. Kicked it into a bit of space. He put it out in front of his teammate there. Came back to Beams. Beams handballed back 1-2. Just looking to set up and find a target inside 50. Good looking kick, but it's cut off. Muck dropped and eventually taken on the second attempt by Maybaum.
Yeah, Maybaum with it, looking to kick long. Told to play on now. Not the greatest kick out of defence. He's handed an early chance to the Lions. A good mark taken. They can go back and register the first score of the afternoon.
Just potentially a bit rushed there, Adam, the Swans defender.
No real breeze to speak of. Distance shouldn't be a problem too. Bit wobbly off the boot. Doesn't look too bad though. In fact, the Lions like it. They've kicked their first goal. And Ben Sloan, I think it is, that has piloted it through. And the Lions will start from in front. The start they needed here at Blacktown.
Yeah, beautiful start. That pressure early for the Lions in their forward 50. Maybaum taking that mark and then probably just rushing things a bit, coming through the corridor and turning it straight over. So dream start for the Lions here at Blacktown.
There's always a bit of nerves around in the opening moments, and I think that's what we saw from Sydney. Obviously trying to kick out. I think Maybaum thought he had more time than he actually did. He was called to play on and just rushed his kick, and there you go.
And we saw Clay Beams, a couple of early touches for the Lions, so looking good. Smith went up high, won it down. Keys off the ground was handy. Inside 50 again for Brisbane. Tapped over the top. Swans players there. Handball backwards. Rushed without it. Here go the Lions once again. Picking it up was Bailey. Crowd come to him. He's tackled. Rushed a handball. Slapped kick to the hot spot. Deflected by Flanagan for the Swans. No one get a clean possession. Great tackle there by Ben Keys of the Lions. Ball came out. Umpire telling him to play on. and eventually it doesn't come out far enough, does it? Umpire still circling, and eventually he calls for it.
Yeah, great start from Ben Keys, trying to dictate things to the Swans and set the benchmark. As captain, he's doing a great job. It might come to the lines again off the tap. Players fighting hard at the bottom. Swans will get it clear. Look at the pressure from Brisbane again. It's been a feature early. They're going to get a free kick here for holding the ball.
Wow, Connor Ballenden there. The tackle was sensational. The second the Swans player had it, wrapped him up and earned the free kick beautifully for the Lions.
So Ballenden now can run around and kick the line second. Won't be easy from the angle. Look to improve it here. Looks good off the boot. He sprayed it though. Just a point. So there's an opportunity lost for Brisbane.
Sorry, Corey Lyons there, the tackler. And behind kicker. So it's been all Brisbane early days of this clash. Come out firing. The Swans really haven't had a chance to have a clean possession as of yet. And they'll do so now out of defence. Wobbly one to the pocket and good strong mark taken at half back. As they look to build, Rogers got the kick high and Hope cut off well. And that's Sam Skinner for the Lions. So chance to reload. Instead he'll go backwards. He's got Frost waiting there. He'll complete the cross square. The Lions reloading across half back. Put it high and long to half forward. Beautiful kick. They'll get a chance to go inside 50 once more through Lions. Has a look forward. Got a couple of players leading. Eventually just goes to the hot spot. Big pack. Could have been a push and eventually is. And the Lions will have another set shot. About their third set shot in the opening 4 minutes. So a real strong start for the Lions. Form running into this game hasn't been the best. They haven't won a first quarter since round 7. And this is for their second goal in space of 4 minutes. The Swans haven't been forward of the centre circle. Player comes in, kick on the way. That's Starcevich. He's kicked his first for the afternoon. He knew it was through. The second he kicked it. And this is the perfect start for Brisbane.
Yeah, full credit to them. They've started well, and it's their pressure that's seeing them get the advantage here. Just rushing the Swans. Swans, not having the clean skills, and they're paying the price. Brisbane just beating them to the footy, getting their reward.
So the Swans, they'll be scratching their head going, geez, we just need to get our hands on the footy at this stage. It's been all Brisbane. The centre work has been great. Ben Keys, 2 clearances early. Beams as well, couple of handy touches in that centre circles. It's tossed up again. Smith won this one down for the Lions. Pressure's good from the Swans as Keys is tackled, and we'll do it all again.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Keys has done a great job as captain, just setting the tone for his side. Thrown up again. Keys lost his footing. It comes out to the Swans. In fact, Keys gets it back, sends it forward, but can only find the Sydney defence. Again, a rush kick out of defence. It was dropped by Styles. Come back to the Lions now. Cox trying to pick out a target on half forward. Does that now. Ballenden will just fire it long. Inside forward 50 to the edge of the square. Players fly. Oh, how about that? Would have been one for the highlights as the Swans scamper it over the line. And another minor score to the Lions.
Geez, they've come to play the Lions today. They have been everywhere in this opening 6 minutes. The Swans rushed kick out of defence. It eventually bounces to a Reed, and he's been one of the best this year for the Swans. Short kick over the top's good. Found Wicks. They just need to slow things down a bit here, the hosts. Goes boundary side. Geez, woeful kick, and that's on the full, and the Lions will get a chance to go again.
Yeah, Swans won't be happy with this start. Just silly errors, lack of composure. Again, it's that pressure. It's fired long by Buick. Trying to find a target again. They are undersized, the Lions. Keys has it. Looking for options. Plenty of them inside forward 50. All the Swans, though. Newman has it. Good use of the handball. He finds Styles. Content to use the handball out of defence. Again, the Swans have it. Again, they throw it back. Buick sends it forward. Crumbs will fall the way of the Lions. Good attack of the footy again. Sloan has it. Thought it was locked up. Still it comes out. Good work. Out of defence from Sydney. Foot up and under. Two
Ooh.
Lions players got in each other's road. Now they can break Sydney. First time we've really seen them do anything going forward. Nice use of it. Stoddart has it. No real options to kick to. Great work again from Cox. Far side, Sydney lump it forward. This may work out. It does. In fact, mark was dropped. Thought it could have been paid. Works its way out now to the Lions. The game's starting to open up. We always have that nervous period. Drop mark once more from Sydney. Players from the Lions getting in each other's road. Perhaps the talk needs to improve. Now it's out over the boundary line. We can all take a breath.
Just good pressure there from the Lions. Every time the Swans looked like going forward, just couldn't get that clean possession, and Lions players were there. So 14-point lead early doors to the Lions. Hope you're enjoying this start of this great game here on Neefle TVs. It's tossed in. Smith won that one down pretty easily for Brisbane. Couldn't quite find any of his rovers. Pack forms. Umpire just looks and waits to see if any of the players can get it out. And they can't. Picking himself up off the bottom of that pack, Toby Wooler played his first game last weekend. Tossed up again. And guess what, Adam? We'll do that once again.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy around the contest at times. It's that pressure of Brisbane, just not letting the Swans settle. I'll get it now, Sydney. Again, they thump it forward. No real direction to it. The Lions have it, and they'll work out of their own defensive 50. Here's Frost. No real options to kick to.
Risky kick.
Thought it may have worked out. They do have the numbers at ground level. Here's Cox. Beat two. But now they're under pressure. May yet sit up for Franks. Thought he was crunched off the ball. Cox roving well. He's got plenty of touches early. Can't find a target on that occasion, though. Sydney need to work it out at ground level. That was high contact. Free kick will go the way of Sydney.
So Flanagan then, geez, tough as nails. Starcevic just got to put his knee in his head and won the free kick. So Flanagan goes short. Maybaum. Now he'll work the footy up the wing. He's got Darcy Cameron underneath it. The big man marks easy in front of Buick and showed the footy to him and lost it. This is looking good for the Swans. They've just slowed down. It's a fast start from Brisbane as Cameron goes long to half forward. 3-on-2. Oh, good mark. Working his way to the front of the pack is Skinner. And he'll go short as he looks to cross it over the top of Bastonak's head. How will it bounce? Eventually got the handball out. Oh, great pressure there from the Swans. Umpire circling, took him on, holding the footy. Great pressure there from Sydney. Risky footy from the Lions.
Yeah, that was a terrible kick from Skinner, has to be said. Put Bastanak under a heap of pressure. Eventually got caught holding the footy. And that's that composure I spoke about. Both sides just trying to play on a little bit too quickly at times, not letting the option present. And both have paid the price.
So first chance for the Swans going forward. Set shot about 15 out. Shouldn't have any problems from here. Comes in, drop punt on the way. He's got it. Easy as you like there for Harry Marsh. Swans have their first good passage of play. Brisbane just turning that one over and probably shouldn't have. As you said there, the pressure there from the Swans as Brisbane looked to cross it out of defensive 50, just too good. And Harry Marsh, the tackler, and the pressure there, outstanding.
Yeah, I think the Swans coaching staff won't be happy with their start. You know, the Swans are renowned, particularly at AFL level, to really respect possession and wait for the leads to develop and then find a target. But certainly not the case today. They've just been rushed sometimes, the overuse of the handball, kicking it long. They need to sort that out. But starting to, as umpire bounces it once again. Not the greatest bounce, and he'll take that one back.
Just hit one of the cracks in the middle, I think. Interesting there, after that goal was kicked, Lions runner out there, got all of the defenders together, told them what they did wrong and then reset.
Ruckman fly together. It falls to Sydney. Amati just thumped it long out of the centre square. Can only find the Lions though. Here's Cox once again. Mentioned his name a few times this afternoon. Risky kick, but it pays off. Lions will have it. Can they find a target? Not sure that went required distance to Clay Beams. They'll just play amongst themselves, Keys and Beams. This is better from the Lions. Just waiting for the options to present. Chipped clear from Marengo. And they'll work it up the wing, Brisbane. Swans getting players behind the footy. Trying to clog up the passing lanes. Option is long. Thought they could have had a mark there, but easy one was dropped. Pressure again at ground level from Brisbane. There's a fan that could be holding the ball too. Umpire says no, we'll lock it up and have a bounce.
It's interesting there, the Brisbane players just working up the ground, and when they had it across half back, it was so congested because they had no one inside the forward 50 to take any of the Swans players away from clogging it up. As the Swans get it out of this stoppage, they handball the ball forward, beautiful. Came to Brown, inside 50, looking for a target there. Rayner underneath, couldn't mark, fisted away from him. All the Lions players slipped over. Real big chance here for the Swans, lining up for handballs across half forward. Eventually came out high up and under, but the Lions defenders have done beautifully there. And they've zoned off, and they're a real chance to rebound. Kick came out to Sloan. Academy player for Brisbane. Has a look forward, short kick. Corey Lyons. So Lyons looks forward. Once again, they've just clogged it up. Had Smith calling for it a bit longer. Elects to go shorter. And just waxing now with Sloan. Bit of push and shove. Once again, Sydney zoned off beautifully. 1-on-1 all up the ground. Archie Smith copped a hold in the marking contest, and he's earned the free kick. The ruckman. And he'll look forward. There's no players in the Lions forward 50 until now. So Smith looks forward, just puts it high to the hotspot. Big pack of players fly from the side. Lions go forward. Keys there. Off the ground was Starcevic. Couldn't quite get the distance. Swans players good. Snap around the body is missed to the right-hand side of everything. And the Swans get a free kick.
I thought it was Keys again, getting the possession, fighting hard at the bottom of the pack. Almost turned it on, something special, but just couldn't find the target. Again, you're impressed. If you're a Lions fan watching, you'll be happy with the start. Great pressure at the footy, just not getting the reward at times as Sydney try to work their way out of defensive 50. Stoddart will take the mark, far side of the ground, moves it quickly with the handball. Swans can get moving here, no one really to kick to. Forced to go short. Now the options present inside forward 50. Amati, good use of the handball. That was touched off the boot. Bounce of the footy. May go the way of the Swans. Good tackle. Again, the pressure of the Lions.
Here we go.
Well done from Sydney, though. This is brilliant movement. They'll get the reward as well. They'll kick their second of the afternoon. That's more like the Sydney we know. And they will trim this lead of the Lions to just 2 points.
Yeah, beautiful persistence there from the Swans working forward. Just the handballing pressure. They got a bit lucky with how the ball bounced off the kick. It was smothered, and the Lions players, really nothing you can do in that situation. As a beautiful goal there, coming out the back. So ball back in the middle. It's just a 2-point ball game now. The Lions really good early. And the Swans, as you expect them to do, just arm wrestle themselves back into the contest. Waiting for the umpire to get play back underway. We give him the green light to do so. Ball's bounced. Smith won this one down again. Crumbing it was Dawson for the Swans. Just high up and under. Just carried the 15. Good use of the body by Cox for the Lions. Spilled out the back. Pressure's good. Billy Johnson's there. Drop punt. Oh, geez, wobbly one. Turned it straight over. Swans again. Chance go inside 50. It's got players leading both ways. Ignores them. Tries to run around the man on the mark. Doesn't quite. Cameron's the target. Underneath it, led up. Couldn't quite mark. Came to ground level. Bell weaving. He's tackled. Ball spills free. Lions with players out of defence. And they'll look to work the handball back to Frost at the top of the defensive goal square and then cross it back to the broadcast side where Keys is waiting underneath of it. But coming across the front, Flanagan takes a screamer. And he'll look forward again for the Swans. Feel like they got the extra number down there. High and to the hot spot. Big fly and great mark. Man in front I thought maybe could have been paid, but Frost has eventually paid the mark for the Lions and they'll look to clear out the scoreboard side.
Yeah, good attack of the footy in defence from Frost. In dispute on the wing. Crumbs forward the Lions. Using the handball well. Good shepherding too off the ball. It's a one-on-one battle going forward. Again, the bounce of the footy goes the way of the Lions. Luck on their side. Can they turn it into points? One-on-one battle. Here's a chance. Keys it is. Just drops the mark and in the end runs out over the boundary line. But good movement out of defence again from Brisbane.
So the Lions, how will they set this one up? Had plenty of goal kickers last week. Big score as well against GWS. 18 goals, 3. Outstanding with 11 goal kickers. As the ball's tossed in. Smith won this one down for the Lions as the Swans look to clear. Coming at it was Sloan again. Couldn't quite as they pump it long again into the hot spot. But Swans defender back with the fight takes a really good mark. The sun in his eyes. So I think it's Marsh. Goes high and long. Oh, a couple of fists there as the footy bounces out towards the boundary line and it'll be tossed in.
Now we've got to talk too about the Swans. You know, the 2-goal straight today, but accuracy in front of goal isn't their greatest strength this year. They are, in fact, ranked last in the competition. So they'll be happy with that, but they need to keep it up because the Lions, although the pressure they've created doesn't really reflect on the scoreboard.
Tossed in again. Smith won it down from behind. Here's a chance for the Lions. Bastanak found it. Flicked the handball back to Buick. Buick stopped props. Put it on his left to the hot spot. Underneath it, Keys flies. Couldn't mark. Got a kind bounce though. Franks is there. Swans defence good. As it is worked across by Johnson. Oh, fumbles. Maybaum as the kick came out of defence. Here's a chance for the Swans if it bounces nicely. They've got players lining up the wing. Eventually it comes to half forward. Bounced in front of Amity there. It's the Lions again. They've just got enough players behind the footy as Cox has got it. Works it up the wing. Can't quite mark on this occasion. Boundary line there, friends. And it'll be tossed in.
Yeah, Sydney seem to have settled. They've got, you know, when the ball does hit the deck, they do get numbers around it. It's where Brisbane were really dominant in that first period of this first quarter. Sydney seem to have really worked that out. Also matching the contact. Thrown in. Tap was one to Brisbane. Crumbs fall the way of the Swans. Neither side really getting a stranglehold in this contest. Seesawing battle. Goes forward. Swans trying to work it off the ground. Getting good numbers around the footy all of a sudden. Brisbane's intensity seems to have dropped off a little. Fired into forward 50. It's all Brisbane though.
Geez, Josh Rayner there, just a bit unlucky for the Swans. Couldn't quite get to the front of that pack. Perhaps could have been held. As the Lions will look to clear from defence. Or 2-on-1 situation. Ball bounced out the back. Starcevich is there for the Lions. Swans pressure though outstanding again. Good tackle from behind. Run down and chase holding the ball. Outstanding then from Sam Skinner. And the Lions work the footy eventually real quick up the wing, and it'll be tossed in.
Yeah, I thought that one, he had a microsecond to get rid of it. I thought perhaps a little bit harsh, but I guess if they're consistent, that's fair enough.
And reward the tackler as well. Clean tackler, came from a mile back. Don't mind saying that.
Thrown in again. It's been a battle in the ruck. That time was won by the Swans. Can't really get clean possession. Picked up off the carpet though. See the pressure again. It has worked its way out for Sydney. Now they can get moving. James Bell has it. Just waiting for the options to present. It's a switch on if he wants it. Lions getting players back now. He sends it long down the wing. Crumbs will fall to the Lions. Trying to work their way forward, but well picked off, although mark was dropped, and umpire says, I'll have it.
Good pressure there from Cody Stackelberg of the Lions. After the Swans player dropped the mark, just managed to lock it in nicely. Tossed up once again. Swans with players at the fall of it. Newman ran through, flicked a handball out. Running player was soft, got a kick up the wing. Lions defender did extremely well there. That's Toby Waller, and he'll look to cross. Got players on this broadcast side. Came to hinge. Didn't swing it all the way the other way as he goes through the corridor. They're lining up across half-back the Lions, just looking for the out. Eventually the kick goes towards the wing and the boundary line, and the boundary line wins that one out. Hinge probably could have come back to this side, and instead of going back to the traffic, it's bogged down once again on that wing.
So thrown in once again. Again, the ruckman fly. Taps well won by the Swans. We may do it all again. No, Lions doing well to wrestle out of the contact. Strong mark taken too by Smith. Just waiting for the options to present. Now he kicks it long inside 50. Players fly. It's all Sydney in the air. Brisbane at ground level. Swans come up with it.
It's a throw. Great tackle there.
Again, they get reward for their tackling pressure.
Outstanding. Starcevich again. Up forward. Been real good both ends of the ground, really. Kick the second goal of the game. That tackling pressure just caught the Swans player off guard.
They need to kick this. Starcevich can go back and pilot this one through the middle. They've had such a good start to it. Let the pressure off a little bit. A couple of goals to Sydney invited them back in the game. Now can edge the lead a little bit further. Not easy from this kind of angle. Makes pretty good contact though. But sprays it again. It's that composure in front of goal we speak about. So crucial here in the knee full. Both sides letting some chances go early as the Swans take it quickly with Newman. Not the greatest kick. Pressure comes again from Brisbane. Keys is there. They work it out well, Sydney. Thrown on the boot by Styles. Pack of players. Goes the way of Brisbane. Skinner. First to the footy. Put his head over it. Got reward. Is that a free kick to Brisbane? No, umpire says play on. Thought the player was pushed out of it. In the end, the ball pushed over the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in.
Once again, Sydney out of defence. Seen it a couple of times in this first quarter. Just rushing things. They got out of jail a little bit when they miskicked it through half-back then, but then just blazed away off half-back. As the ball's tossed in, Lions in attack, kicking to the right-hand side of your screen. Crumb down Keys. He's been good. Put it to the hot spot. It's all Sydney. And taking the mark, Newman. He goes quickly. He's got players on, but running across is Cox. Got it on the bounce. Reeled it in beautifully. Comes back to Frost. Just looking to slow things down. Goes back to Buick. So Clay Beams just telling the players to slow things down a bit, the skipper. Goes to in his direction, but it's Wooler who takes the mark. Just going nice and slowly. Lions eventually plays on, pumps it inside 50, high, swinging towards the boundary line. Pack of players come, and it's fisted out of play. No, it's a free kick to the Swans. Bit of high contact in that contest. And the Swans get away from one there. Chance to clear from defence.
Yeah, good use of the footy from the Lions. Didn't get the reward in the end. Now the Swans try and use it themselves. Foot has it. He'll switch things across the ground. They'll play from the far side. Got some numbers too if they can move it quickly. Urging them forward. Flanagan a target. Soft as well. Moved on quickly to the edge of the 50. Well, they pick out a target through the middle. Not with that kick. It beats Soft out over the boundary line.
Geez, Lions 2-3. They've dominated this first quarter. They'll be disappointed to concede one in red time here. As we mentioned earlier, haven't won a first quarter since round 7. As it's tossed in again. She's crumbing that beautifully. Buick rushed his kick out of defensive 50, but it's fisted back in. Rayner flicks the handball back. Swans a chance. High up and under to the tip of the goal square. Who wants it? Frost back with the flight for the Lions. Couldn't mark, but does enough to stop Sydney scoring. And for the first time since round 7, the Lions have won a first quarter. 2-3-15 after 2 goals in the first couple of minutes. The Swans 2 straight 12. Hope you're enjoying this one on Neefle TV, courtesy of the guys at Bar TV. Take a short break for quarter time and we'll be back with the rest of the action here at Blacktown. It is the Lions leading the Swans by 3 points. Welcome back to Blacktown, and it is the Lions leading the Swans 2-3-15, Sydney 2 straight 12. Real interesting first quarter as we bring it back from quarter time. Lions dominated early, goals through Stackelberg and Starcevic. But then the Swans, they fought back as you expect them to, and Marsh and Cannon on debut, kicking his first needful goal as well. Major ball winners for the Lions, Dawson and Frost, they've had 11 and 9 apiece. For the Swans, Maybarn been really good across half-back. He's had... Start that again as it refreshes. Dawson's had 7 and Brown 6 for the Swans. Interesting at quarter time, we haven't seen any of Lewis Malikan and Sam Reid. Obviously, 2 AFL guys back from injury. They were just having a kick on the side of the tight Swans pack as we look to get this second quarter underway. Here's Adam Santarossa.
So Lions winning their first quarter in quite some time. I'm going to keep the momentum going here. They've shown great attack at the footy. Again, they fly. The ruckman, Smith trying to win the tap. Does that for Brisbane over Cameron. Crumbs fall to the ground. Swans have it now, racing through the middle. Amati's the target. Good use of the body. May yet get possession if it sits for him. Trying to grubber it through. Thought he may have been taken high. Still there for Sydney, and it goes through the middle. Sam Reid it is. First touch back in the needful from injury, and he kicks a goal. Not a bad return.
First 30 seconds back as well, if you don't mind. Didn't play much, if at all, in that first quarter. Crumbing it, welcome back to footy. How easy is that? So that's the dream start for the Swans. Pressure then good from the Lions' defence, and then Reid charging through off the ground. It was outstanding, and they've hit the front for the first time this afternoon.
We saw him testing the hammy at quarter time. It's passed its first test. Nice soccer off the ground.
Good to go. So tossed up in the middle again. Ruckman lock horns. Cameron won it down for the Swans, but picking it up was Bastanak. Kicked it high to half forward for the Lions. But weaving then, Wooler looked good. Couldn't quite get a possession out, and he's been pinged for holding the footy. So he doesn't want to give it up. Love that in a young player. Other than when the umpire says you've got to turn it over. Now a bit of push and shove. Don't go too far there, Nick Newman. Eventually picks the footy up. Still a bit of niggle between these two sides. Back with the flight keys. He'll get pinged for that because he didn't have eyes for the footy. And the Swans threw a couple of free kicks. Suddenly looking like going back inside 50. In possession of it, it's Dawson. One of the big ball winners for the Swans. Just tipped it short. Got players in the middle, ignores them, just goes long to the pack. Will test the Lions' defence. Reid lost the footy in the sun, it would seem, and it bounces out the back and goes out of play. Put the hands up, Sam Reid, and then he thought, geez, I can't see the footy.
Yeah, nearly copped it in the face too, but perhaps a bit of rust. He's obviously been working his way back from that hamstring injury, so give him a bit of credit there. But good to see him getting involved these first couple of moments, really impacting the contest as Cameron looks to do it. He's beaten out in the tap, though, from Smith. Good use of the handball by the Lions, but it's turned over. Sydney will have it with Newman. So going back, waiting for the chance to present. Don't really have a lead option. Reid trying to give it here. Amati on the scene too, but thought that could have been paid a mark. Turned over. Amati with it. Just sits it up. Squares it inside forward 50. No real target to kick to. Players Cromwell. Ball back with the Lions. Here's the pressure from Sydney. Bastanak with it. Turns around well. He's kicked it straight to the Swans though. Good mark taken by O'Riordan. This might be within his range. He can go back. Put this one through. As I said, the Swans not known this season for their accuracy, but today, 3 straight.
O'Riordan, he's kicked 2 goals in his 9 games, the Irish defender. Let's see how he goes in front of the big sticks from a set shot.
We'll take some doing from here. Got pretty close to the man on the mark and never looked like going through. Sprayed off the right as he tried to wheel back and get that power. Often accuracy goes away.
But Adam, the scoreboard still reads 3 straight. They're not kicking that badly out on the full.
Well, as soon as I said their accuracy was poor, they've made me look like a bit of an idiot. So
So the Lions. It's been all Sydney in this early in this second quarter. It's Cox with the clearing kick. Took big pack of players fly. Ball fisted out the front. Swans player at the fall of it was O'Riordan. Flicked a handball. There a chance again. She's through the traffic. That was a bit easy for Stewart. Put a kick to the hot spot. Skinner couldn't mark for the Lions at ground level. Handball came out the back, round the body. How easy is that for Sydney? Beautiful stuff there by the Swans. It is James Bell, the goal kicker. He's got his first this afternoon. That was just a little bit too easy for the Swans at ground level. Lions defenders just scratching their heads going, geez, got out of that pack a bit easy when there were 6 of us standing around it.
Yeah, it was Sam Reid that made that goal happen. I think he's going to come from the ground as well. But, yeah, won it at ground level. Quick hands to Bell. Bell did the rest, but he made a real impact since coming on. Obviously kicked the goal, but really got involved and gave them a presence going forward and allowed, the ruckman and the on-ballers to get around him.
And he's just given the high five to Lewis Malikan there, Sam Reid. Interesting to see what the Swans do player management. Obviously, they played Thursday night this week in the AFL, going down to the Tigers. And then they play Geelong at the SCG this Thursday night coming. So interesting to see those guys on the fringe, what they do this afternoon with the short turnaround as the ball's bounced in the middle again. Smith won the tap down, went a long way to get it. And the umpire said, let's do that bounce again because you ran too far there, Smith. Make it a bit fairer for you both. So, ball tossed up again. Cameron, geez, big leap. Went without it though. Smith kept his foot, came out to Keys. Keys tackled, lost it, picked it up again. Geez, he's a jet, this kid. Flicked the handball back looking for Cox. Cox will have to dive in and get it. Handy little flick over the top to Lions. And the Lions will now just slow things down across half back. Cox. It's worked out well. Has Bastanak out on the wing. Looks forward. He's got Keys providing a lead to the pocket. Goes a bit shorter. Geez, good hands there. As the Lions look forward. High up and under kick. Big pack of players underneath it. Tip of the goal square. Back with the fight. Smith couldn't mark. Touch through. One behind.
So Swans will have it now. Out of defence. Melican with it. His first touch. Takes it short. Now fires it long. Cameron on the scene. Thought he may have pushed his man out of it. Umpire says we'll play on. Lions do have possession. Got some numbers. Cox on the edge of the 50. Trying to find a target. Smith was there. He thought he was pushed. Fighting hard on the deck. Neither side can come up with it. Oh, he's paid holding the ball. It's going to go to the Lions. Well, I thought he was going to call for a bounce, but no, he said Swans players had prior opportunity. Now the Lions have a chance to go back and find one. It'll be Toby Wooler.
Kicked the 2 goals on debut last week for the Lions in the NEAFL.
They're the ones you really need to kick these. 2 goals for. They have one in terms of scoring shots. It showcases their dominance, but they need to convert in front of goal. Sydney have done that. Can Wooler fight back for the Lions? Pretty good connection. He likes it too. Straight through the middle. And Brisbane have their 3rd goal of the afternoon. And Toby Wooler showed composure. And the margin trimmed the 2 points.
Just the persistence up in the forward line then. Just the tackling pressure really good from the Swans. From the Lions, rather. Hadn't kicked a goal since the first 5 minutes of play, so it's taken them the best part of a quarter to find their 3rd. Trim the margin back to 2 points. After the Swans really dominated the first couple of minutes of this second quarter.
Yeah, and you look at those, as I said, the dominance in terms of scoring shots. Brisbane, they've made the most of their opportunities. Sydney, although it looks good at 4 goals straight, they've had a couple where they've kicked it out on the full.
So ball back in the middle. Just wait for the umpire to find the right side of the ball to put into the turf. Oh, it's a beautiful bounce too. You ruck to that every day. Neither ruckman got a hand to it, oddly enough. The Swans, though, did well. Amity flicking it back. Came to Dawson, being good for the Swans. Holding the footy, though, on this occasion. Didn't dispose of it legally. And it'll be Ballenden with the free kick for the Lions. Chance to send Brisbane deep into attack again, but he kicked it into the head of Dawson. Frost came charging through, copped one high. It was a big booming kick Likes to flick the handball off to the pocket. 3 on 2. Swans with numbers here. Bounced out the back. Handy little turn and burn as it came to Flanagan. Put it high. Underneath it is Buick. And the Lions again. Just feel the momentum's with them at the moment. They've got to put it on the scoreboard. Centres the kick. Poor checking from the Swans, and it's Cox. 50 out. Not known as a goal kicker. Just kicked the one in his 8 appearances in the NEAFL this year. From inside the centre square. Puts it high to the top of the goal square. Swans with numbers out the back. Went through the hands of Johnson. He's tackled. Wobbly kick to the goal mouth is cut off. And it's rushed through for another behind for the Lions.
Yeah, we speak a lot about composure, and Sydney try and get it out. Good mark taken, though, in the end by Stewart. Good use of the handball. Kick to a contest, though. Lions have the numbers. Should sit up here for Skinner. Needs to be smart with their handball. He was. Marengo now. Oh, hard work for Bastianak. He has it on the far side. Coming inboard to find an option. Good mark taken, too, by Ballenden. He moves it quickly. Lions can be out here. Some hard running. Rewarded. Here's Buick. It's relatively sticky conditions today, despite being winter. Players fly out over the boundary line. Starcevic can't come up with it, and we'll have a boundary throw.
Probably just kick a little bit high for that lead. Maybe Starcevic got a bit too close. So we'll be thrown in centre wing. As players from both teams just look to set up their attack and defence. Smith will be doing the ruck work for the Lions, fresh off the bench. Won the tap down as well, the big fella, then went and did his own crumbing. The Swans, though, have numbers. Harry Marsh rushed the kick. Buick was rushed with his kick, came back the way of Marsh. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Smith, trying to get the handball out, and the umpire will call for it. Real good pressure again from the Lions around the stoppages. So Smith up against Amati. But Clay Beams came charging through. Couldn't find the handle on the footy. And the footy's wrapped up and it will be tossed up. Pivotal moment of the game at the moment. Halfway through this second term. Oh, beautiful done by Amati. Won the handball out. Newman with time for the Swans. Just chipped it to half forward. Cameron underneath it. Spilled the mark. Did well, the big fella, with his second effort. Marsh got a kick just before the boundary line. Buick's there for the Lions. Couldn't find it. Reed, good little give and go to the running foot. Gave it back to Reed on the left boot. Rushed the kick to the forward pocket. Lions with numbers. Boundary line lurking. Boundary line wins out. It'll be tossed in a true forward pocket position for the Swans. Just pushing the footy forwards and a real chance to kick their third goal of this second quarter.
Again, you see Reed on the ground, just smarts around the footy, knows where to be. He's out the back of this contest. Cameron won the tap. Neither side getting clean possession. It may yet come to Sydney. Bellet is working on the bottom. It's a pack of players. Umpire letting them work it out. Hasn't found its way to either side. Good use of it off the ground from Cameron. Lions get it clear. Oh, mark was dropped on the edge of the 50 by Sydney. Nice work from Johnson. How about the fend too? Oh, it might just sit up for them. Mark couldn't be taken by Wicks. And eventually goes out over the boundary line. But it's fierce and ferocious at ground level.
Cedric Cox then, he's been really impressed with his game. His defensive fist then away from Marsh for the Lions been real good. As it's tossed in again, Smith won it down. Cox was there. He's copped one high. Umpires letting play go on. Marsh has got it. He's tackled to ground by Beams, holding the ball. And Beams wins the free kick. Goes across the face. Cox still just picking himself up from that contest.
Yeah, I think he's taken one across the nose.
So either way, the Lions just turn the footy over across half back. And the Swans player trips towards the boundary line. Geez, just when I was praising his game, Cox. In the hands of the trainers at the moment in the back pocket. So the Swans effectively have an extra player as Cox makes his way towards the bench. Ball tossed in. Can the Lions muscle this one out? They've got numbers around it, Sydney. And came out the back. Flicking a handball, great pressure came from Sloane. Eventually the Lions worked it well. Starcevic got the footy to half forward. Rushed the kick. Swans with numbers again, running through. Oh, look at Newman go. Fend off. Ran the 15. Flicked the handball. Swans building, going forward. Good underground kick, Stewart. Found his man there. Soft give and go. Right foot drop punt to the pocket. Oh, big fly. Ball at ground level. Lions defence under immense pressure. Swans player did well. That's foot. Couldn't quite win it out. Pressure good again. Cameron went without it as well. Lions players call for holding the footy, and it is. Great pressure again. Bit of wrestling still going on off the ball. Umpire comes in, tells them to cool their jets, and the free kick's going the way of Josh Rayner. So Rayner deep in the pocket. Chance to extend Sydney's lead. He's kicked the 8 goals from just the 4 games this year. Shouldn't have a problem from this pocket. Comes in, called to go. Drop punt on the way, misses to the right.
And Cox has come straight from the ground for Brisbane. A bit of a blow for them. He had blood coming from what looked to be the nose, and as someone that's broken their nose 3 times, I'm pretty confident that's what's happened, because clutched straight for it, and there was definite blood because he was trying to not get any on his Guernsey too as he came from the ground. Some real concern for him. So trying to play doctor from here is hard, but Cameron kicks it forward. Read the target. Good mark defensively. Wasn't paid. Is so now, though, for the Lions. And don't want to give Sam Reid opportunities that close to goal. It's hurt too. In taking the mark was Hinge. Don't think he looks all that comfortable. Takes it quickly. Kicks outside forward 50. Oh, there's a pack of players. Bodies flying everywhere. Eventually, ball out over the boundary line. Certainly physical today, this one.
Just the 2 points separating these two teams. Real arm wrestle here at Blacktown. Hopefully you're enjoying this one at home or on the road, wherever you are. This ball's going to be tossed in. Swans slightly in attack. Cameron got himself to front position, then Smith did. Then the ball went over both of their heads. Rushing the kick, Flanagan inside 50 for the Swans. They've got players here. Coming out was Bell. He's wrapped up in a tackle, rushed his kick, came free to Lyons. Lyons also rushing his kick out towards the boundary line. Got a kind bounce for Smith. He was the only Lion there, and it came straight to him. As they'll run it out of defence now. Through the running Sloane, puts it high inside 50, turnover. And the mark is taken across half-back, and the Swans will come back defensively to Flanagan.
Flanagan has it, plays on quickly. He's got options on the wing with Soft, didn't go that way. Went inboard and found Wicks. Swans moving it well up the ground. Can they find a target? Reid is that man. Good use of the body, takes a good mark too. Will he go back and try and slot this one?
Sam Skinner, the defensive Lion there, standing the mark. He went back and he realised it was Sam Reid. He thought, geez, I'm going to have to be good here. And Reid, just the smarts as we saw in that marking contest, took it so cleanly.
Big chance here from Reid. Takes some doing from this kind of range. He's certainly capable. Doesn't look too bad off the boot. Always drifting to the right, though, and just a minor score.
So Sydney, a couple of opportunities the last 5 or 6 minutes as Cox comes back onto the ground for the Lions. That's good to see. Charging on, really. It's a long way for him at the moment, though, as the Lions work the footy out of defensive 50. Big high kick. Went over the top, fisted away. Bell went and picked it up for the Swans. Flicked a handball, put his teammate under pressure, holding the footy. Great pressure again from the Lions. Illegal disposal. So Brisbane across half-back. Free kick the way of Ballenden. Put it high up the wing. Geez, plucking it over the top. That was nice. I think it's Maybaum. So has a look forward now. Beautiful kick. It spilled out the back of the hands of Foot as he comes inboard. Poor kick. Turns it straight over. And the Lions again will have a chance to build and take the footy inside 50.
They look to do that now. Kick to the edge of the forward 50. Players fly again. Good mark taken. Darcy Cameron back there. He switches things well. Mark needs to be taken here from Newman. Does so. Wanted to play on. Almost found his way into trouble. Gets away only just. Invited the pressure back in for the Lions. No need to really rush it. Important kick here. Mark taken from Marsh. So Sydney get away with it. Can they move it up the ground? They have numbers too. Here is Wicks in acres of space. Amati peeling off. Nice from Sydney. They've got options forward too. Reads the target. Mark Page should convert here for his second, and he does so. So a little bit of fortune about it, but a great movement up the ground. Does get reward. Reid with his second, and the Swans kick their fifth.
Geez, Sam Reid, just watching him then as the Swans were working the play up the other side of the ground, he realised the forward 50 was completely vacant and just knew he had the legs to beat the Lions defenders to the goal square. Did so. James Bell saw him there and hit him up beautifully, and as you called it there, Adam, beautiful goal for Reid, his second of the quarter, and really been the difference in this second term.
And good use of it too from Amati. I thought he could have been maybe a little bit selfish, gone back and tried to kick it, but that occasion dishing it off, and it worked out for Sydney, and their lead works its way a little further in front. Centre bounce will come to the line. Smith couldn't get a clear kick at it. Players fight for it at the bottom. Cameron there couldn't go with it either. Now it's fisted clear. Thought they could have got a free kick. Keys was pushed out of it. Bastanak, how about that for the pressure? Cox back on the ground making a statement. Crumbs will fall the way of Sydney though. Again, the pressure from Cox. Should be rewarded with a free kick. Not coming.
Geez, he's like a bull. He wants to make up for lost time. The 2 minutes he was off the ground, Cox. Couple of great tackling efforts. Umpire now throws it up. Swans in attack. Smith won it out, pushed his player off, had to rush the kick though, cut off by Stewart. He rushed his inside 50, bouncing footy. Wicks was there, flicked a handball up. Lions with numbers around it. Handball came towards Buick. He got a handball out, then the kick came towards Keys. Big fly from behind. Beautiful mark taken by O'Riordan. He rushes it and turns it straight over, but Buick couldn't take the mark. Swans player hot in his case, did well. Tapping it forward. Can the Swans get something from nothing here? At ground level, Lions good. Their pressure outstanding. Standing up with it, Sloan. Did well, rushing the kick to half forward. Keys is there, one out. If he can stand up and go here, the Lions are on. Pretty vacant forward 50, but the Swans player did well to force the stoppage, and it will be thrown up just forward of the centre line for the Lions. There's a bit of push and shove off the ball. Sorry, it'll be thrown up. Thrown in. And there's a free kick off the ball. It will go the way of the Lions to Keys. So a bit of niggle. And the Lions a chance now to score. He's got Smith in the goal square. Keys goes that direction now in the pocket. He'll have to beat 3 Swans. 2 Swans contested it. Ball spilled to Starcevic over the top. Oh, went without it, the Lions player, and the Swans just in defence will do enough. And they'll clear it to half forward where there's a herd of Lions waiting.
Chance for them. Pressure still there for the Lions. Swans getting players back, clogging things up. Worked along the boundary line. Inside forward 50 now. It's all the Swans there. Strong fist from Cameron. Puts it over the boundary line. We'll have a throw. Still a chance for the Lions to lock it inside their forward 50. Sydney enjoy a lead, but Brisbane well and truly in the contest. The likes of Keys and Beams around the footy. Trying to get clear possession. Cameron won the tap. There you see the pressure of the Lions. Swans trying to work it clear. They'll do that now. Forward 50 the target. Amati couldn't take the mark. Wrapped up well from Frost. He puts it inside forward 50 again. Players flying. Swans work it out. Thrown on the foot by Brown. A little bit scrappy all of a sudden at Blacktown. Good use of it from the Swans. Now they can break. And they've got acres of space going forward.
Oh, Dawson. Dawson! Beautiful goal. Just rushed the kick after it bounced into his hands. That is an absolute ripper. They just go end to end then, the Swans.
That just puts a bit of pressure back on the Lions, doesn't it? It's really in the contest, but these last 5 or so minutes just haven't taken their chances. Sydney win the footy well. Dawson pulls something out of nothing, really. And now the lead sort of starts to escape.
Yeah, they'll be angry about that one, the Lions. 2 or 3 entries inside 50 and deep inside 50 the past couple of minutes. And they just couldn't find the scoreboard on both occasions. The Swans' defence just stood up. 24 gone in this second quarter. It's their time for one for the Lions, but the Swans have other ideas as Cameron put it inside 50. Bell was there, came off his boot as it goes back inside forward 50. Cox was there as well for the Lions. Keys as well. Darcy Cameron picking it up, wrapped up in a tackle. That should be holding the ball and is. Well done by Ben Keys. So the Lions will look to give and go quickly. Cox is running with Keys. He realised he ran out of space. Then rushed a kick on his left boot inside 50. Big fly from behind. Good strong mark taken. And the Lions will have a chance to put their second on the board for this quarter late in the second. And it is Ballenden who'll be lining up for his first of the afternoon. Real strong pack mark. Keys just ran out of space, so had to rush it. And Ballenden, right spot, right time. He'll have a chance to stem the margin back under 10 points. Starts his approach now. Bit of a stutter. Won't have the carry. It will fall short in the square. Good use of the body there by the Lions player. Picked it up, stayed in. It's out of play. It would have been on the full anyway.
Yeah, never really looked comfortable, Ballenden there. Went back, got fairly close to his man on the mark, and I think distance was testing him, but that's what they've lacked, Brisbane, so far. They just haven't had a strong target going forward. The likes of Sam Reid, that's the option that the Swans have when he's on the ground. Brisbane don't seem to have that. Ballenden can keep making marks like that. Well, exactly what they need. Amati tried to do so for Sydney, but well taken by the Lions. A little bit wayward in front of goal. We've questioned the accuracy of Sydney, but it's Brisbane who have 3-5 at the moment. Could have been much closer. Can they pull a goal back here? It's kicked long. Cameron trying to fly for Sydney. Got an important touch to it. Off the ground was Keys. Thought it was going to bounce its way through, but in the end, took the wrong turn out over the boundary line.
So late stages of this second quarter. Lions have kicked the 1-2. It's been all Sydney, really, kicking 4-2. As it's tossed in, Lions deep in attack. They need one going into half-time. Smith won it down, just looking for a teammate. Swans with numbers. Handball was flicked out to Schumack. His kick came out. Cox is there. He'll reel it in, then worked through 2 Swans. Oh, they called for throw. Oh, he drives into the ground. Amati. Great second and third effort from Cox. Seen all day, been real good across half-back. And eventually forces the stoppage.
That's how you tackle.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you lay a tackle. And since he's gone off the ground with that knock to the nose or the face or whatever it quite was, he has come on with a point to prove and really laying into the Swans. Swans have it. Newman trying to move it quickly. Doesn't really have a target inside forward 50. Rayner is the chase. Frost trying to be cute to get it over the boundary line. Fails to do so in the end.
Oh, he's been paid deliberate.
He certainly didn't make a good...
Didn't disguise it well, did he?
Yeah, not well enough. Newman takes it quickly. There's options inside forward 50. Oh, Amity tries to take the mark. It'll go back to them now. Sydney have a goal. And in fact, it's James Bell. He kicks his second of the afternoon. And the crucial error from the Lions. They pay a hefty price. And the Swans extend their lead.
That's what happens. You just kick it to the top of the goal square. And you're going to get goals more often than not. Beautiful stuff there from Bell. Right spot, right time. Kick 2 this afternoon.
Yeah, something the Lions were so good at in that first term. When the ball did hit the deck, they were there crashing the contest. It's sort of gone away this second quarter. They've paid a price a couple of times.
So... the shadows of half-time at the moment here at Blacktown. Ball bounced. Both ruckmen collided. Neither got a touch on the ball. Pressure from Bastanak was good for the Lions. Eventually, a stoppage will develop just as the Lions were about to break free. The Sydney Swans, a 5-goal second quarter to 1. It's tossed up again. Smith won this one down for Brisbane, but the Swans at the fall of it. High kick up and under. It will probably bounce right on a good length. Reid was there. Ball fisted away by Harry Marsh for the Swans. They're looking to build again. Kick was partially smothered as it rolls inside 50. Lions players there. Swans come in a hurry. They're just mauling it forward. Underneath the bottom of the pack is Luke Parks. And it will be tossed up with Sydney in attack. Lions need to shut it down here. Smith won it. Coming charging through was Mays. Oh, reeling it in beautifully was Bailey. He ummed and ahed and then worked it across half-back. Lions look good here. Wobbly old kick up the wing. It will go over the head of Johnston. Charging through was Sloan. Could have been taken high. Umpire on the other side of the contest. So in fairness to him, didn't see it. And it will be tossed up. Right on centre wing. Smith and Amati. Smith won this one down. Johnson went without it. Smith again, second, third, fourth effort. Amati as well. Ball held to him and it will be tossed up. That's the Swans leading this one by 21 points. Real good second term. Amati again wins this one. Great pressure came from Bastanak. It'll be tossed up.
We haven't seen enough this second term of the likes of Keys. He was so influential that first term for Brisbane. He and Beams getting around the footy, crumbing for the Lions. It just seems to have fallen away this term.
Siren sounding for half-time here at Blacktown. Crucial round 13 clash, and it is the Sydney Swans, courtesy of a 5-goal-to-1 second quarter, leading this game of football. 7-2-44. Brisbane 3-5-23. It's bound to be a great second half here at Blacktown, so we'll be back at the conclusion of half-time in about 10 minutes or so, and we look forward to having your company then. Welcome back to Blacktown. It is the Sydney Swans leading Brisbane by 21 points at three-quarter times. Both teams out on the field and the Swans moving back to positions. The Lions in a tight huddle down in their forward line. Goal kickers to three-quarter times. Sam Reid kicked two and probably was the difference in that second quarter. James Bell got a good one as well. He's kicked two. Marsh, Dawson and Cannon in his first game from the academy player there for the Swans got one. Lions, they kicked two in the first quarter through Stackelberg and Starcevic. They kicked the first two goals of the game, but then it's been pretty dry. Toby Wooler, the only goal kicker in that second quarter for the Lions. I'm Eddie Summerfield. I'm with Adam Santarossa. Adam, how do you see that first half unfold, and what are you expecting in this second half? Its play is about to get underway.
Yeah, really impressed the first term with Brisbane, their attack on the footy, but it sort of dropped away, and that's really the story of the contest. Allowed the Swans to get a bit of a margin. They've been good in front of goal. We've questioned the accuracy, obviously ranked worst in the competition, which we don't harp on too much, but look, they've turned that around today and well and truly deserve their lead going into half-time.
So it's the Swans leading by 21 points. Second half underway here at Blacktown. Sunny Sydney, Saturday afternoon footy. Smith won it down for the Lions. Bounced out in front of Beam. Smith's second effort was okay. Plucking it out of nothing was soft. He got a handball out as the Swans. They'll go forward again. Long kick and hope towards the boundary line. And it will bounce out and be flicked in front of the scoreboard.
Yeah, Brown it was. Just couldn't find a target. In the end, goes out over the boundary line. It's been quite the battle in the ruck today between Smith and Cameron. Those two compete for it as well. Cameron got front position. Crumbs will fall the way of the Lions. Neither side really able to pick it up off the ground. It'll be locked up. Umpire says we'll ball it up.
Couple of key possession winners for both sides leading into half-time. Liam Dawson, he's had 17 touches for the Lions as play gets back underway. And Nick Newman for the Swans, he's had 14. Not much happens from that stoppage. And it will be thrown up again. Real important game for both sides, particularly the Lions. They're sitting sixth going into today as they win it out from this stoppage. Good kick up the ground. Found Wooler, he rushed his kick through midfield. Cox came across, but good mark. I think it was paid. The Swans player played on, flicked the handball over the top to Dawson. Dawson's short one was nice. And they'll just chip it up the ground beautifully. Amati, the target, fell into his lap. And he'll be going back to have a shot at goal from pretty much the top of the goal square. Slightish angle.
Yeah, poor kick from Wooler. Just invited the Swans in. Kick to a 2-on-1. Swans turn it over, and now Amati has a chance. He hasn't been clinical in front of goal this year, but needs this one.
He's had 9 kicks this afternoon. Starts his approach on the right boot. Geez, you put the moz on him there a bit. Adam, missed to the left. Neville looks like going through the middle. So a bit of a let-off for the Lions.
He has his troubles in front of goal this year, Amati. You can see perhaps the confidence not as high as it could be, but should have got a reward for a strong mark as the Lions try and work their way out. They go long, centre of the ground. Thought it could have been a free kick to Sydney. A bit of holding going on. They may yet get it off the deck. Beats everyone out over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in.
So what can the Lions take away from this stoppage? Lots of players around where the ball will be tossed in. It'll be Smith and Cameron. Smith won it out. Cameron kept his feet. Ball out towards the boundary line. Clay Beams just tapping it along the ground. And it will be tossed in. So Lions has really struggled to find goals since the opening couple of minutes of the clash, really. Tossed in. Smith won this one down. Ball at ground level. Swans player did well. Keys was there too. And it's taken out of play.
The Lions, they do look up for this quarter too. They seem to drop off their intensity around the footy. Has picked up here to start the third term. So the ruck battle goes on. Cameron got front position, won the tap. Bastanak was bundled off the footy at ground level. Still fighting for it. Sydney have it. Newman went without it. Now Smith, chance to rebound inside forward 50. Kicks to a contest. Never really able to get on the end of it, Starcevic. And in the end beats everyone out over the boundary line.
So Lions first foray inside 50 for the quarter. What will it bring? There's a loose Swans player in the defensive goal square. They're keen not to concede. They're leading this one by 22 points. Tossed in. Cameron won it down for the Swans. It's all Lions. Ball flicked back. Beams got it. Tackled. Lost it. Put it high to the hot spot. Wants a mark. Ball came to ground level. Who wants it? Swans player Marsh did well. Got a kick out of nothing. Ball bouncing out towards the boundary line. Good pick up by Buick. Put it inside 50 with a wobbly inside-out torpedo punt style kick. Weaving through traffic. Ballenden, he's taken to ground holding the footy. Just tried to do a little bit too much on that occasion. Sorry, it was Bailey. So across half back, the Swans go through Stewart. He marks the kick from Flanagan.
So looks to rebound now. Kicks long up the ground to centre wing. Three players flew against each other from the Lions. It worked out okay in the end. Dawson has it. May have overcooked this one. Buick trying to keep it in, but he has done that out on the full. Swans look to restart. Newman with it. Do have good run off half back, but Lions clogging things up. Forced to play on now Newman. Almost touched off the boot. Goes long. Cameron should take a good mark and does.
Clean hands, wasn't it?
Does have options if he wants to dish off, but going back, letting the targets present. Now hands off once more. Newman again, getting another touch. Lively in this third term. Amati couldn't take the mark. Stewart comes up with possession. Thumps it on the boot. Crumsel for the way of Sydney. Good hands. Edge of the 50. Can this one go towards goal? Pretty good kick, I think. Is that through? It is. I thought it may have been touched off the boot.
Alex Johnson.
They were confident. And the Swans have their 8th goal. And now the lead extends even further.
Just right spot, right time then, Johnson. Got some space out the back and unleashed a beautiful kick. And once again, coast-to-coast stuff from the Swans. Sam Reid comes back onto the ground for Sydney.
And you see the Swans just a little bit more patient in the way they use the footy. They just, not playing on as much as Brisbane. They look to just throw it on the boot at times instead of going back and picking off their options. Sydney a little bit smarter and getting the reward.
So the Lions, understatement of the game so far. They need the next goal. Swans have it out to 28-point lead. As the ball's pinged into the turf, Ruckman do battle. Swans won it down. Cameron second, third, fourth effort. Still can't find the handle of the footy. Sloan came charging through. Couldn't quite get it out. Key's got a rush kick inside 50. Buick should run onto it if he gets a good bounce. Coming out of the goal square, Sloan was there. As the handball came back the way of Newman, he can't find the handle on it. Did well to keep it in, really. Flicks it over to Starcevic. Inside 50 was good. Charging through was Keneally. He's taken out of play. And it's holding the footy. Newman awarded for an outstanding tackle. And he's going to have to give it up. And Newman, really where the last goal for the Swans started, has a kick across the defensive back line. Goes to the goal kicker in Johnson. Work the footy up through half back. Dawson's there for the Swans. He flicked it across to his running teammate. Takes a bounce, looks forward. Amati was charging towards the goal square. Reid crunched the pack. He's the only man left standing. Put it on his right foot. Beautiful kick forward. And the mark's taken there by Rayner. Tighten the pocket. And he'll be looking at to line up first goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, there you said the influence of Sam Reid again. Just summed up the situation well. Saw Rayner had made a smart lead. Now a chance for Sydney.
So it comes in, tighten the pocket, drop punt on the way as he squeezed it in. No. So Lions will regroup from it. Fullback. They'll look to build again.
Well, that was crucial for Brisbane. Could have taken the lead over 5 goals as they rebound. Buick takes the mark. Edge of defensive 50. Wooler now. Thought he might have pinned the ears back and go for a run. Buick playing forward. Thought that might have been touched off the boot. Mark was paid in the end. No one really to kick to, although they're pulled off now. Execution wasn't great. Nice palm off from Keys. He's put Bastanak under pressure. Still alive there for the Lions. Cox goes without it. Sydney back with possession. Smart use of the handball. Newman almost collided with his teammate. Well, they got lucky there. Sydney under the pressure. 2-on-1 here. Lions should win the footy. They actually spoil each other. In the end, footy thought it found its way over the boundary line. Johnson is crunched, now doing so. And we'll have a boundary throw in beneath us, broadcast side.
So it's the Swans holding a handy 29-point lead. Really dominated since quarter time after the Lions won their first quarter in about 6 weeks of football. Tossed in. Ruckman battle for front position. Smith won it down. Handball eventually came the way of Bastanak to the running Buick. This looks good for Brisbane. Inside 50. High kick from Mays. Just kick and hope. Wants the bounce. It goes the way of the Lions. Wooler was there. Couldn't quite find it. The Swans players work something out of nothing here. Maybaum's got it. Lost it. Lions going in hard. And it will eventually be thrown up. Good work from the Brisbane forwards to just lock it in and not let the Swans get any carry out of defence.
That's what I spoke about earlier with Brisbane. They don't really have that target that's working out of forward 50, coming out of the goal square. There's never really anyone to kick to.
Came out. The Swans desperate to just clear it from defence. Keys is there. Wrapped up again. And we'll have a secondary ball up. Players do battle. Ruckman were just held. Driven into the turf. I think it was Bailey. And another stoppage. So we see the umpire try and pluck a free kick out here just to clear it from the zone. Ruckman do battle. Cameron won it down. Good pressure. Ball spilled free. Swans this time doing the tackling and it will be tossed up.
They're not giving any easy possession up to the Lions, are they? The Swans in defensive 50. Really crashing the pack. Cameron trying to get the tap. Now it comes back to Brisbane. Can't get their handball away. We'll lock it up once again.
Geez, bit stiff then. I thought Starcevic could have copped one high.
Cameron. Now it falls into his possession. Lumps it on the boot. Trying to find Reed. Out on the wing. He looks up. Doesn't really have too much to kick to. Wins the 2-on-1 battle. Now Amadi. If they can get clean possession here, they can be away, the Swans. Only really an option going forward. Hang up now in that direction. Good mark taken. And the Swans will go back.
Josh Rayner again.
He'll play on and try and square it up. Johnson to take the mark. Edge of the forward 50. It's touched. Handball was a good one. Newman has it. Could pin the ears back and go to goal. Does that now. Good execution. He's kicked it. Great movement from the Swans. And Newman gets the reward. And they are kicking away from Brisbane.
Just the experience of the Swans across half back then. The smart stuff from the player who centred it. Johnson, it was touched off hands. He took his time. Spotted Newman running up the wing. And as you called it then, Adam, beautiful goal. Had the carry just.
Yeah, I think you summed it up well there, Eddie. Just experienced players at crucial times. Johnson just summed it up. Knew he had players around him. Good talk too. And the Swans, in those key moments in front of goal, they are executing. And as I said, they're kicking away.
So thrown up again. Amadi did a 360 in the air, went without it. So Beams just swept on the footy, kicked it inside 50, came out the back. Can they snare one here? Ballenden picked it up, went without it though. And the Swans again, they'll just work the footy out of defence through a high up and under. Buick came from behind, spoiled it away from the Swans defender, who's eventually wrapped up. That's Cannon. And it will be thrown up on the Brisbane half-forward flank. Possession-wise, they've been pretty good. Lions, it's just finding that target inside 50 or just finding someone to kick a goal out of nothing today where they've struggled. As the handball came back to Buick kicked it high to the hot spot. Will they get the bounce of the ball here? Not towards goal. Next best option's probably the boundary line, and that's where it goes.
Yeah, that could have gone anywhere. And I think sometimes you know it's probably not your day. Bounce of the ball has betrayed them a couple of times, Brisbane. Need a little bit of fortune to try and find their way back. Not insurmountable, the lead, but Sydney starting to take control. Amati doing the ruck work. Ball nearly set up for him. Swans have it. A little bit cute out of defence. It'll work its way out. Touched off the boot. And out over the boundary line. We'll throw it in.
Just at the stoppages, the Swans players just know where to be. Right spot, right time. Jordan Foote, they're one of the key players doing the crumbing off Amati. There's ball tossed in again. Lions deep in attack. There's one down by Amati. Couldn't quite find a teammate. Beams is there. Somehow kept it in. And then he's taken out of play and it will be thrown in. So the Lions just searching for their fourth goal. They kicked 2 in the opening couple of minutes. Then 1 in the second quarter and nothing since. Tossed in. Ballenden wrestled to front spot. Humming over the top was Amity, and the Swans again. They'll clear it out of defence through Brown. High up and under to the wing. Cut off well. Brisbane did well. At ground level, Cox was lurking. Taken to ground, the Swans players who rush to kick. They all dive on. About 20 players around this one. Umpire calls for it right on centre wing.
And I really like the Swans when Sam Reid's on the ground. He just helps their forward structure. Just gives them that target inside forward 50. Amati's up there too. And they really don't seem to be coping with that when those two are playing in a forward role together, the Lions. As that one beats everyone out over the boundary line. If you're a Swans fan watching, I think you're pretty happy with what Sam Reid's done today. Every time he's come into the game, he's impacted it. Snared a couple of goals too.
The Swans just dominating this one as it's tossed in. Smith, been really good for the Lions today. This time couldn't quite find one of his mids as the Swans rush the kick from the stoppage. Bouncing ball out towards the boundary line. They just need to find that run, the Lions, from the stoppages when they get possession and then look forward. Keys is one. We saw him dominate that first quarter. And he's standing on the bench at the moment. Bastanak and Buick as well. They've been in and out of the game. As it's tossed in, Smith won it down. Lions player wrapped up in a tackle. Good work from Sydney. Just a bit of a lull, and as you've said, throughout the past quarter, Adam, they just haven't had that target inside 50.
Might be helped here. High contact. Free kick will go to Sydney though. Amati with it. Dishes off the handball quickly. Swans can rebound. Edge of the 50. They search for Cameron. Ball doesn't reach him. Stumped over the boundary line. Another boundary throw in, keeping umpire on the far side busy. Brisbane do need to respond quickly. Thrown in now. Amati wins the tap, being good. Changing with Cameron in the ruck. Fired into forward 50. Bell's on the scene. No one can really come up with it. Works its way out with Brisbane. Smart use up the wing. And fisted over for a boundary line. Zach Bailey it was. Couldn't find a target.
So we're thrown in on this wing. Real lull in the game the last 2 or 3 minutes. The ball just cramped between the two forward 50 arcs on that outer wing. Real arm wrestle. As the Swans look to break it away. Came out to Newman. He looked for a bit of a give and go. Lions players come to the footy. Eventually they work it towards their goal mouth. The Swans defenders, though, just standing in the way. Newman charging through. Pushed in the back. Umpire let it go. Apologies, not Newman. It's Flanagan. And probably a bit stiff there not to win a free kick. As the Lions look to set up as Swans defenders run back. Tossed up again. Smith won it down. at ground level. Oh, went without it, holding the ball throw. So the Lions a chance here. Great tackling pressure from Brisbane. And the free kick, I think it's going the way of Sloan. It is. So Ben Sloan, the academy player, played a couple of games this season. Lining up for, I said it about 10 minutes ago, a much-needed goal for the Lions. Trailing it by 29. Ben Sloan starts his approach. Comes in, drop punt on the way. Goal umpire didn't have to move. Lions have got their first of the third quarter.
Yeah, great kick, and it's, as you said, much needed. Swans, we've questioned their accuracy in front of goal a few times this year. It's the Lions, though, that haven't looked comfortable. But that time, never looked like missing. I thought Melican on the mark too could have given away 50. The way he raced off it, but didn't seem to faze the Lions, and they have a goal. So, confidence building for them. Sloan gets on the scoreboard.
They've kept the Swans to just the 2 goals in opening 20 minutes of this quarter, so I think that's a win for Brisbane. They've got a goal now, so they're back on the scoreboard. If they can snare the next one and just bring it under a 20-point ball game going into the last quarter, you never know, because they've had the run a lot today. As the ball's pinged into the turf in the middle, Smith won it down the throat of his Lions player, but the ball spilled out. Brown got the kick inside 50. Packer players, Bell underneath it. Second, third, fourth attempt. Couldn't mark. At ground level, the Lions defender did well. Coming through Cox. Geez, had his head ripped off just about, did Billy Johnson. Umpire said, no, I don't know what you're talking about up there, Eddie. Let's throw it up.
I agree. I thought it should have been a free kick, so umpire's been pretty good today. We'll let him off the hook on that one. Come back to Sydney here. Can they snare another? Just going wide. Newman again, I think it was. Couldn't snap it through the big sticks. But that's where you can be critical of the Lions today. They've worked so hard to get a goal, and sometimes they're guilty of letting the pressure off with an easy one up the other end. It's Frost. Kicks out of the goal square. Kicks to a pack of players. Cameron nearly took it with one hand. Options inboard. Newman with it now. Dishes off. Handball spilled by Melican. Still there for Sydney. Parks puts it into forward 50. Players fly. Amati was there. Couldn't take the mark. Still there for Sydney. Crumbing well. Lions not doing the job. Don't think that's gone 50. Play on, and he's absolutely crunched. Good work by the Lions. High contact. Free kick to Sydney. Inside 50. So a chance to snare that goal again.
Jeez, it was good pressure from the Lions. 1, 2, 3, 4 efforts. And eventually they just give one up.
Jordan Dawson paid the free kick.
Kicked a goal earlier this afternoon.
Distance shouldn't be a problem. Relatively straight in front of goal. Bit shaky on the run in. He likes it though. And it's straight through the middle. So Sydney kicked their 10th, and just as Brisbane looked like trying to fight their way back, the Swans answer with a goal of their own. And the lead extends beyond 5 goals.
Yeah, just the persistence of the Swans, I think that's what it is. The Lions, they kept trying, but the Swans, they had answers for every counter-attack then as the Lions looked to clear it from defence. And Brisbane, just when, as you said then, Adam, they looked like they maybe could have put a couple in a row. The Swans, at next stoppage, banged forward, kept the pressure up and kicked a goal to take it back out to a 36-point lead. It's tossed up again in the middle. Darcy Cameron won this one down. Geez, beautiful stuff there from the goal kicker Dawson. Snapped it around his body for the Swans to half forward. Going back with it, got a really kind bounce then did Hinge. Geez, risky stuff through the middle of the ground. And Cox will get it. He'll work the 1-2. Didn't know it was coming, did Hinge. Eventually picked it up. Went back to his running teammate as the Lions clear it from defence. Just looking to build. And again, they just don't have any options going forward, so they'll look to cross. As Cox flicked it back to the Hinge. Hinge found the Lions' last goal kicker in Sloan. Comes out wide. Smith will run onto it. He's got a bit of time, so he just stops, evaluates things. Put it high inside 50. Good use of the body there as the ball spilled the way of Tomlinson. Came out to Lions. Free kick. It will go the way of Brisbane for Lions.
Pretty funny there from Cox. Back in defensive 50. He took the mark, then gave the handball. Almost gave himself up.
As it comes out to Beams, to the hot spot. And Sydney defender did well. Good use of the body. Overcooked from Tompkinson.
Got to be critical of Brisbane there. Didn't need to move it on quickly. No one really to kick to. Swans have swarmed back. They're those moments that have a big impact on the game. Still there for the Lions. Edge of the 50. They've handed over possession though. Dawson again starting to get amongst it. Reid presented well, took the mark. No one really ahead of him. Lions just dropping off. Soft kicks it forward. He's kicked to a 3-on-1. Rightfully so, the Lions take possession. Beams has it. Told to play on now. Does so. Good kick through the middle. Buick couldn't get on the end of it.
Look at Buick go.
Should sit up here for Maybom. He was crunched after it. Did well to get it away. Good mark taken down low too. On the far wing. Soft again, I think, on the far side. Moves it on. Read the target inside forward 50. Flies high. Comes for the way of the Lions. Should work itself out. Back on the attack they go. Bastinak can't get on the end of this. In fact, beats him out over the boundary line.
So a bit of ping pong really going on. End-to-end stuff at the moment. Neither team really finding an easy avenue to goal. Footy just working its way between the arcs. 25 and a bit gone in this third quarter. It is the 6-goal, 36 points lead to the Swans as it's tossed in. Swans ruckman did well. Geez, Bastinak came through the header steam. Couldn't quite escape the tackle. And it will be tossed in once again. Swans looking to extend their 6-game winning streak that all started with their first win of the season against the Brisbane Lions up in Queensland. So tossed in. Darcy Cameron won it down. Went down the throat of Keys, though, for the Lions, who's been good this afternoon. Got a kick forward. Ball somehow manages to stay inside the lines of play as the Lions go forward again. Ball bounced into the hands of Ballenden. Got the handball back. They push it forward. Starcevich could have been taken high. Umpire letting play go on. Ball spills towards Waller. He's taken high, and the Lions will have a chance to get one back and bring the margin back to an even 5 goals. He looked to go there, Toby Wooler. Kicked one in the second quarter. Beautiful goal that was too. And he'll go back now. Set shot, tight in the pocket. Lining things up. Kicked 2 goals last week. Wooler begins his approach. Drop punt on the way. Goal umpire backs back. And he pushes it across the face for a behind.
So Swans looking to restart quickly. Chance for the Lions. Goes begging yet again. Kick to a pack. Amati flies. So too Cameron. Neither can take the mark. Swans fighting for it. And we'll ball it up. Just outside defensive 50 for the Swans. So creeping closer to 3-quarter time. Swans in control. Just shy of a 6-goal lead. Playing on. Downfield. Kicked inside 50. It's a 2-on-1. Ballenden the target. Oh, almost takes the mark. Has he? No, he's been pinged.
Man in front. I think paid the mark.
Maybe a bit harsh there on Ballenden, I thought, given he was outnumbered. For that alone, sometimes you get the credit. Anyway, Swans with it. They kick clear of defensive 50. Cameron takes the mark. Well done. Showcasing his skill. Being good today, the ruckman. Told to play on now. Just bombs it along the wing. Centre wing, Amati the target, but fisted clear from Frost. And again, it beats everyone out over the boundary line. So just about there. 3-quarter time. Swans well and truly in control. It's not insurmountable, but Lions do have to get moving. Trying to address a losing streak that mounts by the week. Tap one by Smith.
So he got it down. The Lions looking to go keys back through traffic. Done that a couple too many times today, and umpire probably could have pinged him, but said, no, let's throw it up. We've done that a lot this quarter out on that wing. Just Nick Newman's quarter been outstanding. He's had 24 touches this afternoon for the Swans. As it's thrown up again, Cameron won this one down. He's been good as well. He's had 11, and the big fella's had 4 tackles too.
Yeah, I think the Swans get the best out of Newman when he's playing on the footy. I think they try to play him off half back at times, and yeah, look, he has an impact there, but just not as much as when he gets around the footy. He's really changed the game in his third term.
So Darcy Cameron won this one down, but Keys got a good kick off the ground, got it to half forward. Players dive on it. Foot was there for the Swans, but coming through, Lions should get a goal here. Drop punt on the way is good. So they've got 2 for the quarter, Brisbane, and that was Buick coming through, streaming through. It was all created from Ben Keys' kick off the ground from that stoppage, and the Lions bring the game back to under a 5-goal margin.
Well, we've seen in recent weeks in the NEFL some grandstand finishes, some sides giving up leads. Swans need to be cautious here. They don't want to fade. Pretty good 3 quarters put together. They need to round it out.
Well, we saw last week at this very ground, Sydney Uni just about give away a similar size lead and only held on against the Gold Coast to win by a goal after the Gold Coast didn't kick a goal for a half a footy. It's tossed up in the middle. Can the Lions snare another one just before 3/4 time? Swans don't think so. They go inside 50. Ball fisted. Marty's there. Oh, he did well, the big fella. Got it on the bounce. Went left, went right. Came back inboard looking for Jordan Dawson. He's taken to ground. Darcy Cameron came charging through. Foot was there also for the Swans. As they pick them up from the pack. Caleb Franks amongst it for the Lions.
It did such great work there, Amati. Just let himself down with the handball. It was a little casual as Cameron wins his own ball off the ruck. Plays it inside forward 50. Amati's there. Scoops it off the ground. Reed all over this one. In fact, gave it to his teammate. Still there for Sydney. Lions not getting it clear. Thrown on the boot from Dawson. Has he got another goal? He has. Third of the afternoon for Jordan Dawson. And doesn't that blow the game open at a crucial time?
Jeez, the Swans were good then. They had, I don't know what Lions defenders were doing, but they had 3 or 4 players just across that half-forward line. Bailey Stewart was the player that it got it out to Dawson, and as you said, 3 goals this afternoon. He's been really good up forward for the Swans.
Yeah, I think that intensity around the footy's just dropped off from the Lions. Every time it goes to the deck, it's Swans everywhere, scooping it up, and then when they do get possession, they've got players there to dish it off to. Real feature of the Lions in the first quarter. Got him in front, but just has gone away.
So ball back in the middle. Thrown up. Smith went high. Cameron went without it. Going through was Bastanak. He couldn't quite find it. He's taken with the footy now. At half forward for the Swans. Closing stages of this third quarter. And the Swans have been outstanding. Smith won it down. Bastanak got the rushed kick to half forward. Can the Lions find one? Big fly came from behind from the Lions player. It was unrealistic, though, by Ballenden. And the free kick goes the way of Harry Mutt. Apologies there, Colin O'Riordan. He flicks it across half back. The Swans just looking to close out this third term.
They're trying to work it along the boundary line. No need to really rush things. Almost there for 3/4 time. It's been quite the quarter for Sydney. There is the siren to end it. And they'll be pretty happy, the Swans, with their work in that third term. They have a lead. Lions need to respond in the final quarter and make a game of it. 3/4 time, it's the Swans 11-5, 71. The Lions 5-6, 36. They have a job to do. A break from us. We'll be back with a conclusion here at Blacktown.
Welcome back to Blacktown. It is the Sydney Swans leading at Brisbane 11-5-71, Brisbane 5-6-36. Real big third quarter there from the Swans. Nick Newman, he's starring. He's had 25 touches, kicked a beautiful running goal in that third quarter for the Swans. It's Dawson of the Liam variety for Brisbane. He's been the major ball winner for the Lions. 23 touches, including 17 kicks, 6 handballs. I'm Eddie Summerfield. I am with Adam Santarossa. Adam, before play gets underway, what were you impressed you in the third quarter?
I think Sydney, their structure, as I said earlier, when Sam Reid comes onto the ground, it really frees up Amati, and they have a couple of key targets going forward, and that's what Brisbane have lacked. They've just kicked to really nobody going forward at times today, and that's what's really hurt them. But also, too, the Swans' pressure at the footy. It's why they have their lead. They've just beaten them at ground level in the second and third term.
So play getting underway with Darcy Cameron and Ballenden. Ruckman do battle. Cameron, geez, the big fella bent over and picked it up, then got a rushed kick to half forward for the Swans. Good fist came from Cox for the Lions. Ball at ground level, sweeps inside 50. Amarty's there. Rushed kick by the Swans player, Rayner to the top of the goal square, but it's all Brisbane. And they'll look to clear it out of defence as the short kick came the way of Liam Dawson. Kick over the top's a good one, and the mark's taken by Ballenden. Got the sweeping handball across. Lions looking to build. Came out to Keys. Keys run and carry. Give it to the running Sloan. Bangs it long inside 50. Bit of a kick and hope with no one there. How will the footy bounce? Swans defender Colin O'Riordan did well. Flicked it back. He had Lewis Malkin there. Malkin. He got it back to Smith. Smith, eventually the Lions turn it over. And play just going on for a little bit as the Swans work a string of handballs. And then the clearing kick up the wing goes the way of Foot. Couldn't mark. Frost there for Brisbane. He also couldn't find it. Swans player flicked the handball over the top. And the Swans will work it to half forward where the mark is not quite paid or taken. Dawson, the pressure from behind was good. Brisbane building up the wing. Came out to Wooler. His kick is partially smothered. And oh no, that's not good news for Alex Johnson. He's copped one in the shoulder, and he's coming straight to the bench.
Has that heavily strapped too, and I think you know straight away.
Hopefully it's just a stinger at him, but fingers crossed for him that is the case.
We saw the perfect example of what we're talking about in terms of going forward for Brisbane. They moved it so well through the midfield and then had no one to kick to.
It was good to see the Lions just trying something new at three-quarter time, sending Archie Smith deep inside attack. And Ballenden starting in the ruck, but when they did eventually go forward, Smith had made his way up as all the Lions attackers had to half forward, and there was no one over the top.
Ballenden goes without it, wins it back on the second effort. All Swans at ground level though. His foot gets a foot to it, turns over though, touched off the boot, so we play on. Fighting hard was Skinner. Lions could be pinged here, but no. Umpire says I'll ball it up.
Great tackling pressure from Luke Parks there for the Swans.
And the Lions, first quarter, they'll be pleased with that. The first quarter they've won in quite some time. But since then it's been Sydney. They don't want to let this blow out because there are still some positives. There's no positive there for Brisbane. Pinged for holding the ball. So reward for Dawson, who hasn't he come into this game the last couple of terms. 3 goals for him today. Looking to turn provider here. Thought that could have been 50. Starcevic nearly ran over the mark. Kick is poor inside 50. Mark not taken. In the end, beats everyone out.
So Sydney in attack. Real interesting just having a look at the ladder. The Lions lose this, and if the Giants win, they'll trade places in the 6. But percentage is on the Lions' side if they can level the ledger back with the Giants as it's thrown in again. Swans with numbers going forward. Harry Marsh is taken to ground. Ball spilled out of his hands. Lions looking to clear out of defence through Hinge. He's taken to ground. Swans play could be pinged high there. Umpire probably on the wrong side of the pack to see it. And it will be thrown up. So Swans deep in attack. Neither side to trouble the scorers so far in this final quarter. So rush kick came forward by Foot, and it goes out of play on the full, and the Lions will look to build out of their full back line through Buick. So Buick with it, stops, props, realised doesn't have much to kick to. Swans players have zoned off well. He's got Keys providing some sort of dummy lead inside defensive 50. Didn't like the option myself. Nor did Buick, and he sprayed it out of bounds on the full.
So a chance for Sydney. It'll be Rayner. Can't quite go for goal himself. Sets it up to the square. Players fly. And in the end, forced over for a point. The Lions look to respond.
So, just looking for options again and just a bit stagnant. Eventually goes the way of Keys. That's a better lead from him. Took the mark, kept his feet well. You can go for a bit of a run off half back. Put the kick over the top, looking for the running Buick. He won't get the bounce he wanted. Ball goes the way of the boundary line. That seems to be the way it's been this afternoon for the Lions. Whenever they've looked of going forward, the ball will bounce the wrong way, or Swans defenders will just get in the way. Ball's tossed in again. Smith doing battle with Cameron. Came to the front. Oh, ball spilled out there. Could be a throw. And the free kick will go the way of the Swans.
So Sydney looking for options inboard. Kicks to a contest. Almost set up for Stewart. Nearly wore some contact too as he juggled it. Edge of the 50 they go. The target is Brown. He's beaten out over the boundary line.
Gutsy stuff from Buick there as the ball spilled off his chest.
But Lions, you sense the result not going to go their way today. How do they turn this losing streak around? As I said, positives. Certainly not done yet, but is starting to slip away from their grasp. Kicked inside forward 50. Swans can add some pain on the contest here. Cox with it. Been one of their best today. As I say that, his kick isn't clearing the danger. That could be holding the ball. Umpire thought about it and said, no, I'll have it.
I think if the Lions can perhaps win this quarter or certainly stop Sydney from massing on a pile of goals, I think they'll take that out as a win and try and build some momentum. So the ball's thrown in this time. Sloan was there. He flicked a handball out the way of Franks. He worked it towards the boundary line where he's got Billy Johnson running, but the Swans again through Amart. He's been real good today. Oh, coming through the pack hard was Bailey, weaving it. 2-on-1 tackle. And he's taken to ground. Interesting run, tough run, the Lions the next couple of weeks. They'll play Southport, Sydney Uni, and then the Giants. So it's really make or break over the next month for Brisbane, as this one's tossed in. They'll pressure the ball up the wing through Stackelberg. Coming back through traffic was Startsevic. Put it back in towards the corridor where Wooler's waiting. He went via hand to Bailey. Bailey just back looking for the right option. He'll put his teammate under pressure, Mays, and they turn it over. The Swans. Here's Soft. Handballed it over the top to Foot. Foot did well. Shrugged his opponent, and then an underground kick. Wormburner style was good. Came out to Rayner, he ran on to the top of the goal square, put it high and long. Ball bounces out the back of the pack and through for one behind.
A great movement from Sydney. Used it well, but not only are they showing their skills, but also shepherding for each other. Talk is good. Sign of a team playing with some confidence. Things going their way today. It's the Lions. Restart us again. Bastanak, the target, couldn't take the mark. Has another go at ground level. Still there for him, but beats everyone out. Foot fumbling a little. Just too much time on occasions at ground level, Sydney. We saw there previously Amati had all the time in the world just to scoop it up and dish it off.
He's been good today. Skills at ground level matched by those in the air as it's thrown in. The Lions have players at the fall of a bit of a Bunana around the body there, back in towards the corridor by Lions defender, and it's turned over straight away. And Flanagan, he's had a bit of the footy today, puts the drop punt to the tip of the goal square. Ball will spill. Swans have crummers. Handball came back the way of Bailey Stewart. He turned it over. Lions will look to clear out of defence, and they'll run it out there now. A couple of running bounces. Could take a third, elects not to. Rushes the kick to half forward where he's got Sloan waiting. He's taken to ground. And the Swans will look to clear it out of defence through Flanagan. And holding the footy. Geez, great pressure there from the Lions. And it's Keys doing the tackling. And this will be a bit of a reward for effort if he can go back and snag his first of the afternoon. But also the Lions, the first of this last quarter. Real good pressure. He's kicked 9 goals in his 8 outings this season. Starts his approach now. Runs to 50. Umpire called him to play on after he ran off his line. It will go to the top of the goal square, falling short. Fisted. Bastanak was waiting. Franks was there also. Tried to shrug a tackle. Umpire calls for a bounce.
A little bit of push and shove too. Inside forward 50. Feeling still well and truly in this. Chance for the Lions just to lock it up. Players fly. Ballenden got a good tap. Can't get the ball off as it's pinged. And we'll do it all over again.
So, ball tossed up. Lions in attack. Tapped out the back. Here's a chance for Brisbane. Couldn't quite find the handle of it. Could Bailey. Finds the boundary line instead. And this is just where the Lions, since the first 5 minutes of this ball game, have struggled this afternoon. Just finding an avenue for goal. Clay Beams kicked 4 last week. Hasn't troubled the scorers this afternoon. As it's tossed in. Bailey tried to kick it off the ground. He's there again. Keys laying the tackle for the Lions. And Alex Johnson, Foot picks himself off the ground of that pack. And it'll be tossed up.
Ballenden again wins the tap. Been impressive with his ruck work today. Swans work it out for now. Trying to find it over the boundary line. Still up for dispute. Lions fighting hard. Hinge the man trying to get possession, but he's fumbled over. Wanted a free kick. Thought he was pushed in the back, but umpire says will be a boundary throw-in.
Really interested to see how Brisbane can do here. Too many times we've seen them in attack for 5-6 minutes as they are right now, and the Swans just rebounded at the other end and get a goal. And there are a chance here because there'll be a free kick to Archie Smith. Copped a push from Darcy Cameron in the rucking contest as Cameron runs back to stand on the goal line. And here's Smith. Drop punt, high, long. It won't have the carry. It will fall short in the goal square. Crumbing it at ground level was Maybaum. He's tackled, and they rush it through for one behind.
Again, another sign. When it hits the deck, it's all Sydney. Lions players really need to lift the intensity, get physical at ground level. It was so impressive from them in the first term, but it just faded away. So, play on quickly. Newman thumps it long. Plays around the footy. Dawson has it. Seen him grow in this game today. Swans looking to break. No one really to kick to forward. Sam Reed's a target. Oh, that's a good tackle. Buick. I think it was. In cover it was. He read the situation well. Made the tackle. He'll get it back here through the middle. Swans player swamping him. Goes without it. Could be pinged. Umpire says we'll play on. Nice palm from Marengo. And he surges forward. Well, that mark could have been paid, but umpire says we'll play on. Wooler, I think it is, working outside forward 50. Ball goes inside now. No one able to really get clean possession. Foot has it now for Sydney. They can rebound and do it quickly. Target forward. Strong mark taken. Reed's moving on too. One-on-one battle going forward here. This should be elementary. Oh, just wouldn't sit. Still there for Sydney. Thought he might dish it off to Reed. Puts it on the toe. Bounces it through the middle. Sam Wicks it is. He had Reed bearing down on goal. He says, I'll do it myself. And he puts it through the middle.
It's quite funny. His passage of play then to watch. The ball went over the top. It bounced over Wick's head, and you thought, geez, Jack Frost will clear this pretty easily for the Lions. Then he lost his footing, and Wicks goes, geez, you know what? I'm going to get a goal out of this, and he did.
Well, it's just the fortune the Swans have had, and people say you make your own luck. And I think today, just the pressure at the footy, unselfishness at times to just find the right target. That's why things are going their way this afternoon.
So it's an even 42 points the margin. Probably about fair and reflects where this game has been at as well. Lions have fought hard, but the Swans just been in the right place at the right time and attacked the footy a little bit more and had targets forward. As it's bounced in the middle, the Swans will look to get another. Dawson's kick was turned over, came to the hands of Bastanak. He goes back inboard, going back with the flight. Wooler couldn't mark. Ball at ground level. Good pressure came from Newman, and it will be thrown up.
Nice work from Newman in a 2-on-1, but I thought he should have been pinged for a bit of high contact. Unlucky there for the Lions. Still there for them. Bastanak read it well. Off the pack. Wooler's there. That could have been high as well. Lions calling for it. Umpire says, no, I'll have it. And there's times where the Lions probably just should go to goal on the edge of the 50. Sometimes they're just looking for that option. As Cameron does all the work himself. Inside forward 50. Oh, crunch in the middle. It was Brown that was hitting the deck on the cricket pitch. Reid hands off to foot. Swans getting the skills together. Amati's the target. There's a race on. Ball might beat them both. Picked up well, though, by Dawson for the Lions. Smith will dish it off back to Dawson. He's run on. Doesn't really have an option to go to. Smart use of it. Finds Wooler.
So the Lions across half back. What can they muster here? Over the top, it bounces towards Franks. Couldn't quite get it and go. Newman was taken with it, and eventually the Swans through Bell. Inside 50, Amati the target. Didn't go his way. Ball bounces back. Good basketball stuff from Hinge. Then Frost is wrapped up. He's trying to get rid of it emphatically, and it will be thrown up in the Swans attack. So Sydney, their next 3 weeks looks like GWS. We'll get back to the rest of their 3 weeks in a moment. As the Lions look to clear from this stoppage. Amati did well, as did Smith, who flicked a handball back towards the defensive goalmouth, and Liam Dawson sees it over. So the Swans next 3, GWS down in Wollongong. Then we've got NT Thunder and Gold Coast after that. So bringing the footy in is Dawson. Kicked it to himself, then put it high and long and up the hill. And the Swans will get another chance going forward.
So it'll be Jordan Dawson to restart. Quite the afternoon for him. Might take some doing from this kind of rage. He may just back himself with 3 today. It's a wobbly old kick off the boot. And rightfully taken by Marengo. Switches things nicely. Finds Sloan, deep in the pocket. Plays on, nearly ran out over the boundary line. Dropped by the Lions. Cameron couldn't claim it. There's a fight on for possession. Works its way out to the Lions. Tackling pressure's good from Sydney again. Can Lions go without it? And umpire says, I'll have it.
Just interesting having a look at the ladder again. Swans win today. They'll move into the top 3 with Canberra having the bye, and their percentage is outstanding. So the Swans inside 50 again through Cameron as it's fisted out towards the boundary line by Dawson for the Lions.
That'll be a game next Saturday down there in Wollongong.
Live on NEFL TV. Bar TV crew and I are heading down there. Should be good.
Swans and GWS. Always a bit of feeling in that one.
I'm told a pretty small ground as well, so it should be a fierce contest. As this one here at Blacktown, it's the Swans in attack. The Lions trying to clear it. Came out towards foot. He's wrapped up. Ball spills free, running over its Cox. He's probably been one of the best for the Lions today. Rushes it outside defensive 50, and then he gave away a free kick for a high, or he received a knock high, and he got a free kick. So Cox will go short. As the Lions just look to build. He's got a couple of targets up the wing. Tompkinson was a bit longer, but elects to take the short ball instead. As the Swans just manned off beautifully. Now goes long. Cameron's underneath it for the Swans. Sloan flies from behind. Couldn't quite mark. Ball at ground level. Brisbane trying to urge the footy forward. Reid went in and picked it up for the Swans. Worked the handball beautifully. 1, 2, 3 as they work the footy to half forward. Bell flicked it over the top. Amati there inboard. It's beautiful. Newman's all alone. Marks could have just jogged on and kicked a goal, but instead takes the option from a set shot. Great passage of play there from the Swans. Pretty much everyone had a touch out on that forward flank. And Newman lining up for his third this afternoon.
Well, he's confident from this kind of range. He thought about playing on, probably the right option.
He's gone the big Brett Lee style run in. The Brett Lee hair colour shoes really bright yellow. Comes in Newman. Most prolific ball winner on the ground, the Savo. Put it on his left boot. Drop punt on the way and he's missed. Missed the absolute lot. After that build-up, you'd hope for a goal. Doesn't deliver.
Bit ambitious from Nick Newman. Anyway, ambitious kick in too from the Lions. Works out nonetheless. Now they try and work it out with Beams. He's got targets. Can he hit one of them? He's hung it up in the air. Oh, he's made to work for that. Was Marengo. He did it well. Now Sloan has it. Good use of the handball. Lions starting to put it together. Bailey helps it on. Now it finds its way to Starkovic. Ballenden now. Again, no one really to kick to. Smith's trying to get down there.
Oh.
Sells a bit of candy, does the big man. And sets it up nicely. Here's a chance for them. Thought they should have just gone back. Buick. Now he's told to play on. He's not helped his cause. In the end, it works out. Good mark taken in the pocket. Now here's a chance for the Lions to get on the scoreboard. It'll be Sam Mays. Not the easiest kick from deep in the pocket. Hard pressed against the boundary.
Hasn't kicked a goal to date in his 5 games for the Lions this season.
This will be a worthy one if he can put it through. Doesn't look too bad, but
Ooh.
Always going to the left. And just a minor score.
Swung late. So the Swans to bring it out of defence. High kick to a pack. Amati flow from behind. Sloan was waiting with the crumbs. Flicks the handball back. Drop punt on the way. Will fall short in the square. Who wants it? Big mark. But there's a free kick, and it's going to go the way of the Lions for a hold in the marking contest. Swans not really happy with how that one panned out. And Brisbane will kick their first goal in this final quarter through Buick. Drop punt, straight through. I think it went straight through. The scissor lift behind the goals as well. It's a beautiful kick. And Buick's got his second this afternoon. Bit of pride for the Lions. And they've kicked their 6th.
Yeah, good reward for them. They've used it well this last term. Buick puts it through for his second. Been one of their better players today. It's been the senior players that have stood up, but just not done it consistently across the 4 quarters. Keys, Bastanak as well. Beams had their moments. Always difficult for sides like the Lions, where their AFL side, or their senior side I should say, struggling a little bit for form. So you often see players going up and down through the NEAFL, and continuity isn't always there.
So ball to be bounced back in the middle. Cameron just held his ground and won the tap, but couldn't find one of his rovers, so he does the tackling. And it will be thrown up in the middle again. Cameron won this one down. She's coming through Keys. He's a live wire for the Lions, isn't he? Lions also working it forward. His handball overcooked the way of Ballenden. The Lions, though, they keep persisting. Ballenden's there, as was Wooler. But the Swans, that could have been a high tackle. Umpire said no. Met hard was Harry Marsh. Came out the way of Beams. Beams goes inboard. Beautiful kick. He'll do the give and go to Ballenden. He's told to have a shot. Put the handball to Mays. Mays centre and kicks good. And the Lions just slowing things around, sharing it around half forward.
Yeah, it was Hinge with that tackle. Brilliant tackle. Right on the mark. If he's ever looking for a gig, he could clip that up and send it to the Brisbane Broncos up the road, I think.
So, I think it's Buick coming in, spinning the ball in his hands. Called to play, drop punt, helicopter to the goal line. Was it touched? It was. So, it was Bastanak with the shot.
So Swans restart it quickly. Kick to a 2-on-1. Some work to do for Dawson. In the end, beats them all out over the boundary line. But it's been a better response in terms of intensity and tackling pressure. So good in the first quarter. They're back up to that level here in the fourth, but it's the second and third terms that really were their undoing.
Well, I mentioned it earlier. If they can win the last quarter, it's a positive for the Lions, and scores are level in this final quarter. So have something to take into next week's big game against Southport. As the Lions, they work it inside 50. They can still win this quarter. Drop punt was neat. Didn't go the 15 though. Snap around the body. Got it. Geez, that was an absolute hurler for the Lions. And was it Keys? Not too sure. Could have been Beams. Have to go back on the tape to find out who kicked that, but geez, it was a good goal for the Lions. Just kept persisting, kept going.
I needed that a little earlier, unfortunately, for Brisbane. Great goal. I think it was Clay Beams who put it through. Player of his quality. Haven't seen enough moments like that. So, restart again in the middle. Cameron wins the tap. Starting to take control of that ruck contest. Been fiercely fought today. Pressure comes from Newman. Rode his man to the ground, but he managed to get a kick away. Only could hang it up in the air, and it's taken by Styles. Centre of the ground. Moves it via the hand. Now kicked long to a contest. No one really taking the mark. Beams will pick it up off the deck. Lions need to be clean here. Edge of defensive 50. They have some numbers through the middle. Moved well. Here's Cox. Can take a bounce. Perhaps another. Handball was a little bit too strong. It's not going to work out. Oh, how about the contact from Stackelberg? He'll fear that in the morning.
Geez, that was an old-fashioned shirt front on Maybaum. He bounced straight back up to get to this next stoppage. Bit of push and shove. As the Lions player still wrestling as the umpire threw it up. So Cameron won it down. They'll look to clear. It will bounce into the hands of Bastanak. Stops, props, then put it on his right boot inside 50. Beautiful kick. Forward couldn't mark. He went his second effort. Did Ballenden. He's tackled. And it will be thrown up. Just big hit then. So the umpire throws it up. Lions in attack. Ball spilled out wide. Snap around the body from Keys. Goes out of bounds on the full.
We all want to get on the highlight reel these last couple of minutes, the Lions plays.
Just a bit of party time at the back end of this ball game.
But definitely this quarter, you mentioned something they can take confidence from. They haven't taken the foot off the pedal. They've kept fighting to the end. Hasn't quite been their day here at Blacktown. Haven't given it up, though, the Lions. They want to address this losing streak they're on. I know they are still on the cusp of the finals. And finals footy, once you get there, anything can really happen. They need to get there first, though, as ball beats everyone out over the boundary line. I think we'll see Sydney strengthen too as we march to the back end of the season. Players returning from injury into the senior side, so numbers will be forced to drop back to the NEFL too. Much more of a settled squad for them. Stewart goes without it, far side of the ground. Again, it beats everyone out over.
And we've seen the comeback of Reid and Malikan today to football after a couple of months out with injury. So they'll no doubt be looking to force their way back into that senior Swans side, which will just keep developing these Swans players as they all look to press forward. As the Lions work a string of handballs backwards. Rushed his kick in the end, did Dawson, and turns it over. So called to go now. The Swans still pressing. Back with the fight. Good mark taken. And he'll work it backwards towards Beams. Beams goes the 1-2 with Keys. Keys across half back. Inboard kick's good. Marking it Startsevic. He'll give it back to the running Keys. He wants to go, but he realised he ran into a wall of Swans. And that sums up the day for the Brisbane Lions. Sydney running out 29-point winners. 12-8-80. Brisbane 7-9-51. Couple of positives the Lions can take away from this one. They won their first quarter in a long time, and they won the last quarter as well. A positive to take into next week. The Swans, well, they extend their winning streak out to 7. And Adam, how did you see that game?
Yeah, look, I think Sydney will take much confidence from that. It was really up for grabs there in the opening terms, but they really took control with the physical work at the contest. I thought Darcy Cameron was good. Sam Reid returning from injury. Can't ask for much more. Couple of goals and really impacted the game. And that'll be pleasing for Sydney. I think Brisbane can take stuff away too, but they'll be disappointed that their first quarter effort wasn't really rewarded in the second and third term. That's where they lost it. Showed good fight at the end, just not enough across the 4 quarters.
So it's Sydney running out winners here at Blackdown, 12-8-80, Brisbane 7-9-51. The Gold Coast Redland game kicks off in a couple of hours on NEFL TV, so looking forward to that one. Next week for the Swans, they take on GWS Brisbane. They play Southport. That's bound to be, both of those games bound to be pretty good games and also quite important in the context of this season. Adam, thanks again for your time this afternoon. And I'm Eddie Summerfield. I hope you have a great afternoon and we'll see you at the footy next time around.